Well, it's an absolute honour to be joined by David Haye, supporting mixed martial arts, supporting all these amateur fighters coming up. First and foremost, you've got a big one coming up yourself. Tell me about this.
Yeah, fighting Saturday night. I've got a guy, Arnold the Cobra. He's born in Kosovo. He's 29 professional fights. He's never lost. 21 knockouts, 6'5", about 18 stone. So should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I've only had like 1 round's action in the last 4 years. Right. So my time in the gym's been great, but you know, when you get in the ring, it may be different. But I'm positive with Shane McGuigan, my new coach, I'm going to have no problems and we're going to get a spectacular knockout.
And you've been preparing in the UK for the whole fight?
The whole fight, yeah. My whole training camp for this fight and the last has been all done in the UK. I haven't felt the need to travel. I've got my own gym in Vauxhall, Haymaker Gym, grafting every day. You had Carl Frampton in the gym with me. You know, George Groves came down to the gym yesterday to give me a black eye. You know, super middleweight, a little bit faster than me, a bit smaller than me, so forced me to speed up. You know, getting used to fighting these big heavyweights. Chucks a spanner in the works when you get in there with someone small.
Yeah, I bet. I've been the small guy before for some of the heavyweight UFC guys, and you know, as long as they don't hit me, I'm all right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me about this. How you became interested in mixed martial arts and how you came to support this today.
I've always been interested in mixed martial arts. My father was a martial arts instructor. You know, I did karate when I was probably 3 or 4 years of age. I only started boxing when I was 10. Right. Although I wanted to be the heavyweight champion, my dad wouldn't allow me to do boxing until I was 10, until he thought I was old enough and mentally with it enough to do boxing. As boxing's pretty hardcore, getting punched in the face, so there's no stopping for one point here. It's very continuous. And I enjoyed martial arts, karate specifically, but I wanted just to get stuck in. I wanted to just let my hands go. And there was no mixed martial arts back then. There was nothing like that. Obviously, being a young kid watching Jackie Chan and Yuen Biao and Bruce Lee every day, you know, I love fighting. I love the combatant vibe. But, you know, I think since the early 90s, since the sort of the Hoist Gracie started doing his thing on the scene, that really sort of I started to look at it and think, okay, this is interesting. What style beats what style? Looked like jiu-jitsu beats all styles to start off with. I used to get them some videotapes of some sort of underground fights from Russia and stuff. So I really used to start. I've been there from the start of it, you know, from the first probably UFC, and then over the years I've seen the sport develop and grow, and now you're getting kids who from the age of 3 have been doing mixed martial arts. Their ground game, their stand-up, everything's top notch. And that wasn't the case, 20 years ago. And it's really nice to see very amateur. You've got amateur MMA now. It's crazy to think you've got an amateur MMA tournament, but they're here, these young guys wanting a professional career, wanting to fight for money, wanting to fight on the big stage. And it just shows how deep the sport is when you can get, you know, this is at a convention now, and you've got guys coming here who are in great condition, and they really want to win this tournament. And it's lovely to see. I'm really enjoying some of the fights here, and it just shows how great and how good and how much the sport is growing.
See, from my experience, when I was fighting as amateur, it was no headshots. Yeah. So as a striker, that doesn't mean if you're a boxer going into mixed martial arts and tell you can't punch him in the face, changes everything, don't it? How important was your amateur experience before you turned pro?
It was vital. I would not be here right now if I wasn't able to have the international amateur fights I had. You know, I was the best in the UK, and what happened was I was then fighting top Russians, Ukrainians, Cubans, Americans on a daily basis. And that's what really sort of taught me real boxing, is domestic level amateur fighting, which is a good level. Mm-hmm. Then once you start fighting the top Russian, the guy who's number 1 in Russia, the guy who's number 1 in Ukraine, one of the guys who's number 1 in Cuba, that's when you need to jump up a whole nother level. Right. And then you turn professional and you kind of drop back down a level and start fighting the domestic at professionals. International amateurs are as good as top 10 professionals. So there was a big jump down, but then although I could then fast track myself through the professional game and start fighting for world titles and European titles within 15 fights.
Brilliant. Well, it's certainly paid off for you, and good luck this weekend. I'll be tuned in, as well as the whole mixed martial arts community will be supporting you. Great talking to you, mate. Good luck. Good luck.